I'm making a weird noise.
Oh, I hate them.
I want to check it out. Hopefully you don't have to put stop.
Yesterday turned out to be a repeat of the day before. I went out to enjoy the nice weather before working on the monster, and by the time I got home I had nothing left, so nothing happened on that day. I'm just gonna skip over to today, and finally today, the last nice day that we're gonna have temperature wise, I finally get to start working on the monster. As far as actual repairs, just kind of got to make some determinations as I'm going along, because I'm not going to be able to do what I had originally planned on doing. But before I get to that point, I go out, do my tour, and the monster suffers another major breakdown. You remember a few videos back, I was saying how the crap storm has begun. And I'm kind of afraid to drive the monster because everything's going wrong and I can't have anything go wrong with it. Well, apparently it did. I'm going to come right out and say a warning to anybody who owns a monster. If you have a hub on your rear axle that doesn't line up or doesn't fit tightly on the splines, you are in danger of this happening to you. The more you drive is going to determine how quickly you get to this point. I'll explain that in just a little bit here. For the last little while, I've been hearing quacking noise coming from the rear hub, and my first impression here was maybe the bolt came loose and the tire wheels kind of trying to come off and the splines are no longer connected. That was my impression. So I get off and check, and nope, the tire's good and tight.
Anything I can do to help you out, or you?
Nah, maybe help you push it up the hill.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be loose. I think the line's making sure. Definitely this wheel. It's been making a weird noise.
Oh, I hate them.
I want to check it out. Hopefully you don't have to put stop sign. If it uses the motor as the brake. I have to remember that. Thank you.
Alright, you gonna make it?
Oh yeah. If I need to, I can push it home as long as I'm on level ground.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, if I see you on the trail up there, then I'll know.
And once again, whoever you are, dude, thanks for the help. So at this point, I figure as long as I'm on level ground, then I should be okay to drive home. I just don't want to get into a situation where I have to stop quick because it uses the motor as the brake, and well, with the hub slipping, I'm not going to be able to stop. So for the most part, it's going to be pretty much level. There is a little bit of uphill, but if I need to, I'll just get off and push.
unbelievable. I was out driving, and all of a sudden the hub started slipping. I thought maybe the bolt came loose or something. No, it's good and tight. But the spline stripped inside and out. Unfreaking believable. So I know I will have to replace the whole rear end motor and everything once again, which I'm not going to do, as well as the hub. So you know what? Oh, what the heck? Quarter there. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to put a couple spot welds on here for now, just so I can drive it, because it's completely useless that way. Unbelievable, eh? Next chapter in the monster's garbage.
So here's my take on what's happening here. Let's say this is the end of the axle, and the end of it is splined, and the hub that the wheel attaches to goes onto these splines. It's splined on the inside of it as well. They match up. Now, if you remember back when I replaced the rear end in the monster, when I put the hubs on the new axle, one fit nice and snug, and the other one was fairly loose. Well, the loose one is the one I'm having the problem with. So what's happening is with the weight of the monster pushing down on the axle, and you get the wheel on the outside pushing up, then the hub is actually on a bit of an angle, because there's actually play in it. So as I'm driving, the axle's constantly pushing down and the hub's constantly pushing up, so it's constantly moving, and it's just ground off all these splines. That's my only explanation for what's happened here. So if you have a monster or any kind of scooter that uses splines instead of keyways, then you're in danger of having this happen too if one of them is loose. And I kind of recall recently one of my viewers had mentioned that his was making noise, so he took it off and put some lubricant in it or whatever, and it's quiet now. That tells me it's moving, so I don't remember which viewer that was, but if you see this, you might want to keep this in mind. So I'm going to take another look at it. I do end up, I put a couple spot welds on, because the way I'm looking at it is I have to replace the rear end anyways, and the only time I'm going to be taking this hub off is to be doing that. So I'm, for now, until I make a final decision, I'm just putting a couple spot welds on it just to hold it in place, so I can actually use the monster. So but I'm going to take another look at it, because all the dust and everything that came out was all brown. So I'm thinking that might be the hub itself. There might be enough splines left on the axle that if I put a new hub on, it might work okay. Because the inside of the hub is just, it's ground smooth, and there's still a little bit left on the axle. So I'm going to be calling the shop on Tuesday. I can't do it Monday because Monday's a holiday. But I'm going to call on Tuesday and ask once again about the tires, and I'm going to see if he's got one of these hubs in the shop, because anytime I need a small part, he tends to have one. So I'm hoping. Yeah, I don't have to wait much longer. Yeah, I can just grind off the spot welds I put on it. It won't be too difficult to do that. So I'm not gonna let this get me down. Like I say, I've got it fixed right now temporarily, and if I need to, I can weld it permanently. So I do have a solution. No, not a preferred one, but if it comes down to it, then that's what I'll have to do. So in the meantime, I'm not 100% totally completely trusting the monster at this moment, or this weld anyways, because like I say, it's just spotted. But at least, you know, it's getting me going, and it's too cold for me to go very far now anyway, so I'll be sticking close to home. Unfortunately, no matter which direction I go, coming home is always uphill. So if I have to push it, it's going to be a problem. Life goes on, right?